Enjoy watching.
Shocking facts about dreams. Everyone sees dreams, even those who think they can't see. Exceptions are people with severe mental disorders. Scientists conducting research on dreams came to a very interesting conclusion. They found that only smart people remember dreams. This conclusion was made after a study of more than 2,000 people. The majority of people surveyed say they do not see or remember dreams. 90% of dreams are forgotten. Within 5 minutes after waking up, 50% of sleep is forgotten. Within 10 minutes 90%. Perhaps sometimes this causes uncertainty.
Wow!
It seems that the process of fixing events in memory during sleep is disabled. For those who claim that they do not dream, this blockage is more complete than for others. According to Plato, dreams originate in the organs located in the abdomen. He believed that the liver is the biological source of most dreams. People who grew up on black and white television see mostly black and white dreams. Most of us dream every 90 minutes, and the longest dreams 30-45 minutes happen in the morning. Dreams can be controlled with proper practice. You can arrange dream series for yourself. Return to the place where the dream was interrupted last night.
Wow!
Nightmares are normal. They are seen by all people in all cultures. Most of the nightmares we see in childhood, their number decreases with age. The feeling of falling in a dream usually happens at the beginning of the night, in the first stage of sleep. Even the faint light from digital clock numbers can make you sleepy. The fact is that the light turns off the nerve switch that is responsible for falling asleep. Because of this, the level of the sleep hormone drops sharply in a few minutes. The pre-sleep stage is similar to meditation as the body prepares for sleep. It relaxes. This applies not only to all processes occurring inside it, but also to the brain. You cannot snore and dream at the same time. People only snore during non-REM sleep. During this phase they do not dream. And a little about the dangers of snoring. 10 of those who snore suffer from choking in their sleep. These people stop breathing up to 300 times a night, which dramatically increases the risk of heart disease. Most often, dreams show negative rather than positive emotions. The most popular emotional state in dreams is anxiety. Rarely remember dreams or do not remember at all people who tend not to notice or ignore what may cause them anxiety, although the problem, if any, is not solved by this. In a dream, many discoveries were made and great things were invented. Mendeleev in a dream saw a table of chemical elements. Paul McCartney the song Yesterday. Animals also dream. From an evolutionary point of view, the dreaming stage of REM sleep is the last stage of development that can be found in the human body, as well as in other warm-blooded mammals and birds. Flights in a dream most often try to explain this to us as the reasons for physical growth. If you fly, then you grow. But is it? Ethologists have come to the conclusion that the flights that we make in a dream are connected with the fact that the most ancient genetic program is manifested, which is recorded in the memory of a person. Flights in a dream have been known since ancient times, when no one suspected that an airplane would ever be invented. Flying in a dream can express both our hopes and life's fears. Children under the age of 3 are not able to see themselves in a dream. The biological clock does not reset. Our biological clock is always accurate. One sleep-wake cycle lasts 24-25 hours. Dreams prevent psychosis. Sleep is a rehearsal. Scientists are increasingly leaning toward the idea that the biological significance of sleep is to ensure the survival of the species, be it rat or human. In dreams, we train ourselves to avoid danger. It seems that this is what dreams with threatening content are for. For example, swimming across a river or running away from a dangerous animal. But thanks to a special state in sleep, in which our muscles are almost immobilized, all this rehearsal takes place at the level of the brain. Thus, we learn ways to save our lives in a dream so that someday we can use them in real life.
Let's go!
Since the advent of the internet, we have been told that we should not believe everything that we read and see there, but you will be surprised how many facts on the internet that seem to be fiction and deceit, but they are true, and here are some incredible facts. Humpty Dumpty is not an egg. Many people know this nursery rhyme. A huge egg in clothes falls from the wall and shatters. The end, right? But the verse does not mention that Humpty Dumpty is an anthropomorphic egg. Then where did this strange image of the character come from? For this, thanks to the very king of opioid fantasies, Mr. Lewis Carroll. The fact is that he decided to introduce Humpty Dumpty into his famous novel Through the Looking Glass, and there this tedious character is described as a hybrid of a man and an egg. But if he wasn't a giant egg, then who was he? In fact, Humpty Dumpty is a huge cannon that was used in the English Civil War during the Siege of Colchester. One of the cannons managed to destroy the wall on which Humpty Dumpty was standing, causing it to fall and shatter, and it is not surprising that the cavalry could not collect it, because horses don't have arms, to begin with. Sharks are older than trees. If you had doubts about the coolness of sharks, then you know they are serious, older than trees. The earliest species that can be considered a tree, the extinct Archaeopteryx, lived 350 million years ago on the site of the Sahara Desert. That seems like a very long time, but our toothy friends swam the Earth's oceans 50 million years earlier. The earliest shark teeth belonged to an individual that lived 400 million years ago. Most likely it was an ancient species of lianodes that lives in Europe. In all this incredibly long time, sharks have survived 4 global extinctions and many creatures that people have not even caught. Unfortunately, these fish breed very slowly and cannot keep up with the humans who hunt and kill them for their fins. If we don't stop, then the trees might outlive the sharks. Carrots were purple. Imagine rabbits nibbling on purple carrots. A school lunch full of purple vegetables, and parents are desperate to convince their kids that food that isn't bright orange will help them see better in the dark. Real madness. But, until the 17th century, there was no alternative to this. The fact is that wild carrots growing in Persia were dark purple in color due to the antioxidant pigment anthocyanin. It was thinner and bitterer than modern varieties. When carrots were brought to Europe, with the help of selection, their taste and appearance were improved, and then the yellow and white varieties became more common. Then the Dutch took mutant strains of purple carrots and crossed them with new varieties. And so it turned out sweet, thick, orange carrots. It is believed that the color is a tribute to William of Orange, who led the Netherlands to independence. Weird, but okay. Betty White is older than sliced bread. Few people can safely say that it is older than sliced bread. Everyone's favorite actress, Betty White, born in 1922, boasts such an achievement. The very concept of sliced bread did not appear until 1928. When it was introduced by the inventor Otto Friedrich Reuvetter. If you are weak in mathematics, then I will tell you Betty White was only 6 years old when sliced bread first appeared. Until 28, bakers believed that sliced bread quickly loses its freshness and was sold only in loaves. In July 1928, the newspaper of the city of Chillicothe told about the invention of router and noted that some people were literally amazed by sliced bread, but housewives would be glad to get rid of the need to tackle it with a knife. Ah, simple times. Nightingales are louder than chainsaws. If you have ever been awakened loudly by the morning loud chorus of birds outside the window, then it might seem to you that someone turned on the chainsaw right in the bedroom. It turned out that there are good reasons to dislike feathered neighbors, especially if it's nightingales. German scientist Henrik Broom, whose last name is slightly similar to the sound of a chainsaw, studied how loud nightingales can be. In 2001 and 2002, they turned out to be incredibly noisy. When a male tries to attract a female, he tries to shout over the urban noise of roads or construction and can raise his voice up to 14 decibels. Broom recorded the songs of the nightingale during the mating season, and the loudest of them reached 95 decibels. This is the volume of a chainsaw from a meter away. Just so you know, it is illegal in Europe to expose workers to more than 87 decibels without ear protection. If nightingales were human, they could be jailed just for being loud. Cleopatra is closer to the iPhone than to building the pyramids. Where could Cleopatra be more likely to be present? While building the pyramids of Giza or in line to sell the first iPhone? What do you think? Unsurprisingly, she lived closer to the first selfie than to building the landmarks she is associated with. The largest pyramid of Giza was most likely built between 2580 and 60 BC. However, Cleopatra was born in 69 BC. 2,500 years later, she was the last pharaoh and used snake venom to end her life in 30 BC, meaning they lived closer to modern times than ancient Egypt. Apple founder and CEO Steve Jobs introduced the first iPhone in 20,072,037 years after Cleopatra's death. France used the guillotine when Star Wars came out. This fact proved how distorted our perception of time is. And here's another example. On September 10, 1977, Hamida Jandubi smoked a cigarette and then went to be executed in the most famous way in France by the guillotine. He was given such a punishment for taking the life of his beloved, and this was the last execution by guillotine in the history of France. However, something else happened in that significant month of 77. The next day, in the same country, at the Deauville Movie Festival, a movie called Star Wars was shown. It turns out that the guillotine was not always associated with wigs and revolutions. There is another dark connection. A teenager named Christopher Lee attended the last public execution in France in 1939 and played Count Dooku in Star Wars. Do you know other facts that seem impossible, but are actually true? Tell me in the comments. Thanks for watching.
Please like, share, subscribe.